Go ahead, Dylan.
So, switching gears a little bit, you've mentioned a few times that your votes are for sale. But
I've heard you say that, Elliotte, on TV, on the TV.
Yeah, I said that.
But if you were to give any player a discount on that vote for the major awards, Hart, Norris, Calder, which players have caught your attention?
Well, first of all, I guess I should say for the record, my vote is not really for sale.
Damn.
Dylan, I think this year, I think it's Yossi for the Norris. I'm voting Sider for Calder. I think my ballots are due Monday. I'm starting to really go over it.
Too. Yeah.
I'll say this. Last year, I thought the hardest vote was the Norris. This year, I think the hardest vote is the Hart. There's a group of 8 I've looked at for the Hart, and in no particular order, it's Matthews, it's McDavid, it's Yossi, it's Gaudreau, it's Shesterkin, it's Kaprizov, it's Huberdeau, it's who am I missing? Crosby.
Crosby. You know what? I want to put Stamkos into that conversation.
It's funny you say that, Ken, because I did Tampa's daily radio show with Dave Michigan and Greg Linnell, and they asked me about Stamkos, and I said, what I do is I put together a long list and then I whittle it down.
Yeah.
Stamkos is on my long list. But I just couldn't put him in that top 8. So. You're insulting. It sounds like you're insulting people. I'm not trying to. Right. No, Ken, it's so funny. I was looking at Stamkos' number last night. Like, people forget, for everything he's been through, he's still over a point a game player.
Oh yeah. And I do think that part of what goes into that sentiment for this year is what he's doing this year. Having overcome the last couple of years, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he played himself onto the Olympic team this year.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anybody who thought that he was a lock to make the Olympic team. Played himself onto the Olympic team. He scores, he's moved to center and gone back to center, with, points been kind of in and out and they've had some injury troubles. He scores goals, scores big goals, does it early and often. And I don't know. I just think he's been a huge part of their regular season success this year. Mm-hmm. He's not the best player in the league, but and again, it comes down to the semantics of the definition. But you're going by the guy that's been most valuable to his team. I would argue that nobody's been more valuable to the Tampa Bay Lightning than Steven Stamkos has been this year.
I'm not going to argue with you on that. Yeah. The other thing too, Ken, is that I think we've been reminded a lot by how popular he is among his peers.
Right. Yeah.
And that counts for something. That means that you're doing something right.
Yeah. I'm on your on the Hart Trophy. I don't know how. I just don't know how you can't give it to Austin Matthews at this point. I don't like that. That's my feeling, is that I'm not sure how you can't give it to him at this point. McDavid's right there. But Austin Matthews, for example, he's had 23 of his goals have been goals that have put the Maple Leafs ahead in games. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, I look at those kinds of goals. I look at sort of when they're scored and sort of the context of it. And this is a guy who, he doesn't get a lot of cheapies, No. He's got a few more empty net goals this year, and I would actually argue that increases his value, because now they feel comfortable putting him out when they have a 1-goal lead, and they want to, because I do believe empty net goals matter in that respect. But he's a big time scorer, best player, most valuable, whatever you want to say. I'm just not sure you can not give it to a guy who's got 60 goals. Like, who else? Ovi's had a 60-goal season in the salary cap era.
And Stamkos
had one. That's it. So that's quite a feat. So
yeah, I got to tell you, Ken, I'm not going to disagree. I mean, it's probably going to be Matthews.
Yeah,
atop my list. The way I look at it though is that McDavid's got 61 points in his last 36 games, as Edmonton's season was on the ropes.
Yeah.
Like that, it's interesting. Like, someone sent me a tweet last night. I thought it was a really good tweet. I actually liked it. he kind of compared McDavid to Mike Trout, as in that, the guy is so good that the biggest problem is you're comparing him against himself. And if he doesn't do anything ridiculous and spectacular, you kind of underwhelm him.
Yeah.
And he's still got a career high in points this year. And but he's got 61 points in his last 36 games. Yossi, Nashville, I don't even know where they are without him. Gaudreau, the thing about Gaudreau is he does it at even strength. And I think in this league that really, and this is a league that's having its highest scoring year in
25
years
since 95-96.
And Gaudreau is leading the league in even strength points. I think that says something. But but the thing is, I know I'm going to be pissing people off because Kaprizov, I think, is deserving. Huberdeau, I think, is deserving. I mentioned the top four, my top four on Saturday night. I said it was in no particular order: Matthews, McDavid, Yossi, and Gaudreau. And I had people based in the States who were saying you're just shafting Shesterkin. Somebody here is people here are going to be left off the ballot, and it's going to be people are going to be screaming bloody murder.
Hey man, good teams get beat out in the first and second round too.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a reflection on them; it's a reflection on the field. I agree with you 100%.
I always like to write, if I don't vote for someone, it's because I hate you and your team.
Yeah, exactly. And all of your family. I've heard you. I've read that from you before. Yes, I hate you and I hate your team too.
and everyone you love. Yes.
Well, we all know, Elliotte. If you're not pissing people off, you're not trying.
You're not doing your job.
You're not trying. Right. Come on. Okay. Norris.
Do you mind if I mention something on the heart before we get out of here?
No, I don't want you to. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No normally means I don't mind, but English is hard, Ken. So we'll
words are hard.
Words are hard. I thought that Huberdeau had a very interesting statement when he said that Matthews should get the Hart Trophy, and I thought that was just him angling for the much more coveted Lady Bing.
I don't know about that, Dylan. The thing is that's kind of hockey, right? Like even I guess Matthews even said he wouldn't vote for himself or something.
Well,
like that.
Of course,
Well, he's not allowed. That's not an option. So I'll appreciate that if the players are voting on the Hart.
You know what though? Joe Thornton would have been a guy that would have voted for himself. I remember he said, I remember one time he was talking about the Sharks and he goes, "Yeah, Patty Marleau's a great player. Brent Burns is a great player. I'm a great player."
Yeah. No, because I'll tell you, years ago, I remember my last year at the Score. Eric Hinsky was a rookie and Josh Phelps was a rookie. And Phelps had a big end of the season. I was interviewing both at the same time. And I said, who would you vote for Rookie of the Year? And Phelps says, it's got to be Eric. And Hinsky goes, I agree. I think it has to be me. I was like, I wish I heard this more often.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Well, with the Norris, and we've got about 12 minutes left, I think, by my estimation. So we'll try to get through this. The Norris, I think you've made it pretty clear Yossi's your guy.
Yeah.
Not Cale Makar, eh?
No, I just think that I just think this year that I just think Yossi this year is he carried them. They're not even and I don't even think it's got anything to do with Makar's on a great team. Look, are we going to punish Connor McDavid because he plays with Leon Draisaitl? No, that's stupid. Are we going to punish Austin Matthews because he has a great setup man in Mitch Marner? No, that's stupid. I don't punish Cale Makar because because he plays on a great team.
Part of the reason of which is he's playing for it.
Because he's playing for it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think that Yossi this year was otherworldly. I mean, he could have had 100 points. We don't see that from defensemen anymore.
He's got 93 right now.
Yeah, he's gonna just miss it.
He's got a game to go. He still might get 100.
They'll feed him like crazy.
I also think too, Elliotte, that the Norris, for whatever reason, is. I'm not going to say it's not a meritocracy, but it's kind of one of those ones. I mean, there is an exception, like Adam Fox comes out of nowhere and gets it as an entry level player, but it's one of those ones that you kind of have to work your way up to winning. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Mark Giordano. It took him all those years. Al McInnes all those years. Like that's one of those ones where it's more of a maybe it's not your turn yet, young man. You know what I mean?
I think that has been the case in the past for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to ask if you think that like it's finally Shea Weber's turn for a Norris.
Yeah. Okay. Silly boy. Okay. So, Cider for the Calder. I agree with you. Although, I mean, that's going to be a tough one too.
Well, I think for me, the toughest thing is filling out the ballot. I mean, there's Bunting, there's Raymond, there's Zegras.
There's Tanner Jeannot.
Tanner Jeannot's a great one too.
Yeah.
Who is who like I was looking at, and the fact that he wasn't called up until late kind of ruins his chances. But Sean Dursey,
he's been outstanding.
Like he's been unreal. Like he still
qualifies, eh? He still qualifies, eh?
I believe, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Like now you're making me gaslight myself, but I'm going to go check because the worst thing I want to do but like I'm watching because I'm looking at this and you're.
As you talk, I'll look.
Now I'm looking at this because like the Kings to me, they got kind of lost and ignored a little bit this year, but they're not. The fact that they made the playoffs is an incredible story.
With the injuries they had.
Yeah. If you would have said that Doughty would have played 40, 45, 50 games and they still would have made it.
Right.
I wasn't.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. Okay. He's 23, so he gets it. But the age. Absolutely. He hadn't played a single NHL game before this season. So
yeah, like
you are absolutely right.
Doughty played 39 games this year. Like, who would have thought the Kings were making the playoffs at 39 games?
Yeah. That's that's a great one, Elliotte. That's like one of those ones you slide in at number 5 to make it look like it's like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the problem is with me too is that games played has always mattered to me in rookie voting. Because I think when you're a rookie to play 82 games, it's a really hard thing. So you've got Jeannot, you've got Raymond, you've got Cider, you've got Bunting, and I can't remember who the other one was we mentioned, but Zegras. So that's a tough thing for me to vote for Dursey, but it's not his fault. He wasn't called up.
Right.
So I don't know. It's a really tough call. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, who knows? Cole Caulfield might have wanted if he had been
started earlier. Yeah.
It started earlier, but he's tailed off too as well. So
yeah.
Good stuff.